guys, welcome to another edition of Pay-Per-View in Review. This time we're going to talk about last night's Elimination Chamber. So the 2023 Elimination Chamber in Montreal. This was a big pay-per-view, the last big one before, well, the last one actually before Wrestlemania. So it had a lot of weight on its shoulders to be a good show. Opinions vary, I guess, but we're going to talk about all these matches. If you haven't watched, if you don't want any spoilers, now would be a good time to turn it off, because we're going to talk about the matches, the winners, and some of the stuff that happened during the press conference after, which Will and I set up and watched last night. So if you don't want to hear all that, then I suggest turning it off, but still hitting your like button. We do appreciate it. So first off, we're going to talk about the women's chamber match. We had Asuka, Raquel Rodriguez. I had to write these down because I forget. Liv Morgan. We had Nikki Cross, Carmella, and Natalya. I do think that Natalya was there for cheap pop, seeing as how they were in Montreal. You know, that's Bret Hart country, which is fine, but to me, that spot would have been better deserved for somebody like Bayley, Becky Lynch, even though, like I said, I don't like her character, Sonya Deville. Somebody there is much, to me, more worthy people to be in that other spot rather than Natalya. Not a knock on her, but she's not really full time. She just came back from injury. I don't think she needed put into that position, but that's just my opinion. So let's talk about the women's chamber match. What'd you think about it, Will?
It was alright, but I didn't really like the people who was in it. Asuka was fine. I like her. Raquel was really good. I think she had some good spots. She was like one of the only big people in there, and I like how she hossed everyone. I like how they played that out. But other than that, I really liked it.
Alright, and that's the dog in the background making noise, so. Alright, Aaron?
I thought it was good. Like I said, they could have put a bigger name in there besides Natalya, because like you said, she's not really full-time. She just got back from injury. I think she could have been there, but she could have done something else. I think that they had some good spots. It's just, I think they could have done better with what they had. They had a pretty good time slot, in my opinion. So they could have definitely done more with that.
It was a short match.
Yeah.
It was a very short match. For a chamber match, it was a short match.
It was short-lived, but to me, it was short and sweet. It was good. But it wasn't amazing. It was a good match to kick off the night, is what I'm trying to say.
Personally, I find it kind of disappointing. I'm glad that Asuka won. I feel like she deserved that, especially with this character change that she just had, which is stupid cool. I didn't think Carmella needed to be in there. Her just coming back, I feel like that was very stupid.
Yeah, that too.
And it's not like she's great or grand either. I mean,
that would have been Bayley and Bayley and Becky Lynch.
That would have been amazing.
And that would have elevated that
storyline, yeah.
The storyline and the match overall, because those girls all those girls can wrestle. But
yeah.
I would take Bayley and Becky Lynch over half of them at least.
Yeah, but the match itself was fine. Nothing too crazy happened. A lot of submissions more than pins, which I thought was kind of weird. But overall, I think it was an okay match. Not the best, but also not the worst.
It was a good, clean match. It was short. The whole, who was it? Asuka and was it Natalya taking out Liv?
That was nasty.
That was a good spot.
Yeah,
I mean, kind of silly that she passed out smiling, but that was a pretty good spot. That new Asuka's new finisher, that submission hold looks brutal.
Yeah.
Let it be known that I would never want to take one of those.
But Asuka should have won. She looked good. She looked good throughout. Like you said, this character change is great. Hopefully they'll continue using her like that, and she looked good.
Yeah.
And a lot of those girls did look good, and it was a good match for what it was. It could have been different people. I won't say better people, because all these people have paid their dues to get to where they are. But there could have been better storylines, I guess. And for me, I would have made different choices, but I'm not the booker, so overall, it's a good match. It was short. Like I said, a lot of submissions, which was weird. Not weird, but I don't know, just weird.
Unusual.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah,
but overall, it was a solid match. Like no major botches or anything like that. It was a pretty good, solid match.
Yeah, it was a good match.
So they did good.
Yeah.
So props to the women. They did put on a good match.
Yes.
Thought it was a little short, but sometimes that's not always a bad thing.
Exactly.
All right. This next match, Bobby Lashley and Brock Lesnar.
Oh Lord, where do we get started with this one?
Mm.
Thought it was a good little match for what it was. Definitely short-lived. Like I said, this was supposed to be the ending of Brock and Bobby. This was supposed to be, the Titans clashing and such. But it was really lackluster. They hype it up like, oh, this is the end. This is like the finale of these two behemoths going against each other. And then for a DQ to end it, I don't like it.
What do you think, Will?
Kind of the same thing Aaron thought. It was a good match. I liked it. It was pretty good. But a DQ ending, like for a big major match, a DQ was not their best choice. Now, I did like how he just threw that ref around. I did like that. That was good.
That was just funny.
That was good. But other than that, it was meh.
Man.
Again, kind of disappointing. Seems like their last couple matches together have been very weirdly ended. Like, Brock got disqualified this time. The last time I felt like that pin wasn't supposed to be a full pin. So, I mean, their matches have been rather weirdly ended recently. But I will say, for what it was alright.
I'll tell you what my problem is with the whole match, the whole setup. I understand why Bobby won. From SmackDown Friday night, I knew Bobby Lashley was going to win. Bray Wyatt coming out and challenging the winner of this match, challenging for WrestleMania. Brock Lesnar and Bray Wyatt is not a good match.
Not at all. No.
Brock is not somebody you want to put in that kind of storyline.
No.
He's all business. None of this other Uncle Howdy stuff's going to float with him. So I completely understand why they did it. I did not like this match. Came off. Bobby looked strong, which he should. Brock came out looking kind of weak, having a low blow for a DQ. So
Yeah.
I did not like that at all. Like I said, I understand the ending. Wouldn't have been mad if Bobby had won it some other way. Really thought some Hurt Business stuff would come out of it, and that's what would cause the end. But I did not like this match at all. It was not a good match for either one of them, really.
No.
So I don't think neither one of them really came out looking good.
No.
And I'm like Will, watching Brock tear everybody up after the match was kind of cool, but at the end of the day, it was not a good. To me, it was not a good match. And I like Brock Lesnar a lot. I think of everybody on the roster, that would be the one he's probably like the most dangerous person they have, like for real. So I really like him. I like his character, but that was not a good. To me, it's not a good way to set up anything coming up for WrestleMania.
No, it really wasn't.
Even if you read the dirt sheets and they talk about Brock versus Gunther coming up, that'd be great because they're both big guys and Gunther can wrestle. He can straight up wrestle. So that would have potential to be a good match. But man, they missed the mark on that one for me big time.
Yeah.
So that was disappointing to me. But some people might have liked it, but I did not.
Yes,
So, there you are. It don't really matter in the greater scheme of things. All right, now Edge and Beth versus Finn Balor and Rhea Ripley. I know you were looking forward to this one, man.
Yeah.
What'd you think, Will?
I was very excited for this matchup to happen. I honestly thought it was a dream match. I thought it had that kind of material. I liked the way they finished it. I liked the way they started it. Edge and Beth, they really did good. Even how Beth was in retirement for a while because she was a mom, she did really good. For her to just be coming back, Rhea did really good. Oh, Dum Dum did really good.
Dominic. He's the real hero of this story.
Is it easy though?
Yeah, nah, he's the villain.
The funniest thing was him running out, getting chased by Edge. That was good.
Mhm.
That was funny.
Overall, it was a good match.
This was a really good match, in my opinion, both technically and storyline. Personally, Edge and Beth Phoenix did really good, and so did Finn Balor and Rhea Ripley. Everybody in that match did good, and I think they all played it out perfectly, and I think this was overall just a really good match.
I enjoyed it, of course. Anything with Judgment Day, I'm going to enjoy. And to throw two Hall of Famers, absolutely just legendary wrestlers in the mix is just even better. Everybody did really well. The match wasn't bad at all. I was kind of worried that somebody would cheat and like win, because that's just Judgment Day's thing. They're heels. That's what they're supposed to do. But Edge and Beth won, which, to me, that's fine. Typically, I'd be like, no, Judgment Day needed to win that. But Edge and Beth got that well-deserved victory. So the match looked good. Everybody did really well. Even Dominic at ringside. I mean, as little as he does or tries to do, I think he did good. Everybody did good, and I think it was the best match last night. I'm willing to go out and say that was the best match at Chamber.
Wrestling wise, yeah, it was a good match.
Yeah.
Carried on their storyline. It played out with the storyline. Edge and Beth won, which to me they should have.
Yeah.
Especially after the Extreme Rules and all that happened with Extreme Rules. I did like how they kind of played to that when they had Beth on the stairs and Rhea was going to smash her with the chair again. I did like that kind of throwback to Extreme Rules. It was a good match. They all did really good. They're all great performers in the ring. Finn Balor's fantastic. Rhea's fantastic. I'm a huge Edge mark. Beth Phoenix is a beast. So I mean, they did what they were expected to do. They did a really good job. So it was a good match.
Yeah.
WWE, this is your cue to give Finn Balor a belt finally. Listen to me for a minute. This would be awesome.
No, he's good. Judgment Day needs a belt.
Yes.
They do.
Judgment Day needs some gold.
Specifically.
Whether it's tags, whatever it is, they do need some gold to make them, not that they're irrelevant, to give them some more legitimacy, you know, as a faction, more of a threat to more than just Edge or the OC or whoever. So that they do need some gold.
Even if it is just like the United States Championship.
I mean, I don't see them taking the Intercontinental belt, but
No.
even if it's the Intercontinental belt, I mean,
Like even just one of the smaller belts
Let
would
Damian
work.
Priest go for the U.S. champion.
well, that's what the chamber match was about. But anyway, that was a good match.
It was.
Judgment Day needs some gold.
Yeah.
I don't like them, which I'm not supposed to, because they're heels. They're all great performers, so it's not like, oh, I'm not supposed to like them, and I don't. So they're doing their job, right? Much respect for all of them. Can't stand them, but you're not supposed to. That's how it's supposed to be. That just means they're doing their job. I like to see them. Like to see them in action. I hate the way a lot of their matches go, but again, that's what they're supposed to do. Was glad to see that kind of a clean match overall.
Yeah.
So I was glad to see that. Good match.
Yeah.
So props on everybody involved.
Are we going to talk about Beth and Rhea? What was it? They power bombed?
Oh, the double power.
Yeah,
bomb.
that was good.
That was good.
That was
those
really
are two of the few girls on that roster that could do that.
Absolutely, yeah.
But yeah, that was good. That whole match was good.
Yeah,
they had
really
some
good.
good spots. The spears and the power bombs, and it was overall it was a really good match. So yeah, props to all of them. They put on a good show.
Yes, they did.
Overall.
They put on a good show.
Overall.
And Edge's pop, they were in Canada, so Edge's pop was really good, really loud. He looked like he was going to explode out of his skin when they came out, which I'm sure he probably was.
Yeah.
But just from start to finish, it was a good match.
Very good match.
Overall.
All right. Coming up next, the men's chamber match. We had in the match Austin Theory Seth Rollins, Johnny Gargano, Montez Ford, Bronson Reed, and Damian Priest. My biggest issue, I'll just go ahead and say this just to get it out of the way. My biggest issue with this was a mid-card match, with the exception of Seth Rollins. Everybody else in this match was mid-card, and that should not be for an Elimination Chamber.
No.
There was no Drew McIntyre, no Sheamus, anybody else you can think of to put in there. Brock was busy with Bobby Lashley. How wild would it have been to have those two guys go each other into the Elimination Chamber?
Yeah.
I mean, that would have been great. But to me, this was a mid-card match. 10 years ago, that never happened.
No.
This is a top-tier thing to me. This was mid-card with the exception of Seth Rollins, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Not that they didn't do good. I'm not saying that at all, but I'm just saying this was mid-card.
Extremely.
So, I mean, my opinion. But anyway, what do you think about that one?
Other than Edge and Beth, this was probably one of my favorite matches of the whole show. The only dislike I really had was Bronson Reed just coming up and then being in a giant pay-per-view like that. But even then, he still did really good for him to just be brought up.
Dude looks good.
Yeah.
He's large.
I wouldn't want to fight him.
Good match. Honestly, had some solid spots. I think it made everybody at the end of the day look good, like Bronson Reed, like you guys said, for him to just be signed to WWE and him just like quite literally starting just a couple weeks ago. He did really good, and that chamber made him look really good. I think he has huge potential.
I think with him taking everybody's finisher pretty much, getting super kicked like 77 times and taking everybody's finisher before he got him out. He was out up, but he still looked good. Made him look really strong, which dude's beast.
He needs to look strong.
He has huge potential. That's what I'm going to leave him at. But I will say this match gives me a little bit more respect for Johnny Gargano. I know. But he did really good. He did really good. Like, it looked like he got hurt a couple of times, but obviously that's part of the job. It's what he signed up for. But he looked really good. He had some really good spots. Like
that Hurricane Rama or whatever off the
top of the pod.
That was sweet.
That was a good spot.
Yeah.
I really thought that was the end for that, man.
As much as I don't like him, Montez Ford climbing up to the top and dropping on those guys, I really liked that.
That was a good spot
too.
too.
That was really good.
I think overall this was a good, solid match, and I think even though Austin Theory won, it was really good.
I thought it was a good match until the end. Not that I mind Austin Theory winning. I know from what I've seen, it seems like they're trying to pull Seth out of this storyline. And hence what happened last night. Logan Paul coming in and just like derailing Seth. I thought was stupid. Like, I mean, I get it. They're trying to set up a storyline, but really, whatever. But overall, the match was really good. Really cool spots. Everybody did great. Even though they were a bunch of mid-cards, I thought everybody did well. I didn't really see any major botches. A few here and there, but nothing like worthy of like, ooh, that's like bad. But Damian Priest did really good. You know me, I'm biased, but he did do really good. I don't like Montez Ford, but he did really good. Bronson Reed did really good. I feel like Austin Theory, he's Austin Theory, you know? He's gonna try and get some cheap shots in, even like pinning people that just got hit a finisher on, and maybe the other guy was knocked down. You know, just Austin Theory things is the best way I know how to describe that. Of course, you know, Seth was really good, and even Johnny. Johnny did fantastic. He's whatever, but this match I feel like gave him a really big push, which is well deserved because he did amazing. Yeah. But overall, the match was fantastic until that ending with Logan Paul, which, I mean, I guess they're just trying to build storyline for Wrestlemania, but still, I thought it was kind of dumb, but, you know.
Yeah, I agree. I will go on the record. I do not like Johnny Gargano's character. Let's differentiate that. I do not like Montez Ford's character. Do not like them any whatsoever. But they man, they did good.
Yeah.
Everybody in that match did a really good job. To me, it's still a mid-card match, but after this, Damian Priest, maybe he gets a push for something. Bronson Reed's just coming up. Montez Ford, maybe he's going to get pushed out of the tag team stuff into more singles competition. Very athletic. Dude can wrestle. I just don't like the characters, but everybody in that match did a good job. I'm like you. I hated the ending. I know why they did it the way that they did not like the ending. You expect, to me, at this point, you expect Austin Theory to get cheap wins. That's just been kind of how it's went, and that's fine. His character is developing. He's doing a good job developing his character. But I don't know. I don't understand why you're wasting Seth Rollins the way that you're wasting Seth Rollins. Now, Logan Paul, from what we've seen, he can wrestle.
Yes.
Super athletic, can wrestle, but I don't know. I don't know. They don't want what it is. To me, what it is, they don't want him in the title picture right now, so they're putting him here and putting him there, and it's fine because he's going to get anybody over. He's ridiculously over. He's going to get pops. It's going to be a good match.
Yeah.
If it actually comes to that, which obviously it looks like it will. It'll be a good match, but I don't understand why they're going the direction that they are with that. I don't like that. But again, that's just me. But it was good. I'll be curious to see who gets some kind of little push.
Yeah.
Between now and WrestleMania and even after WrestleMania. We'll see what happens with that. But really, everybody, I know I said this to me, it was a mid-card match, but everybody did a phenomenal job.
Yeah.
Wrestling like that in these kind of matches is what gets you over, put you into that top of the line status. But they all did really good. Even if I didn't like them, I think they're still good. So what are you going to do?
Kind of felt bad for Theory. He took a beating that whole match.
That pod.
The pod.
That was hilarious.
That was
Yes.
a good spot.
That's probably one of my favorite spots of the match.
I liked it.
Him jawing at Gargano, and Seth Rollins sneaks up on the other side of the pod, and then they beat the wheels off of him. That was good. Moving on. The main event: Roman Reigns versus Sami Zayn.
Yeah.
Everybody just shaking their head.
Predictable as always. Just.
Well, we'll get to that, but what'd you think about the match?
Paul Heyman was the best part.
Yes. I agree.
Yeah.
I feel like that's why anybody wanted Roman Reigns matches anyway. It was good. I think for what they did, that was a good match.
Yeah.
I think it was really emotional. It was a great storytelling match, and I think it made both of them look how they were supposed to. It made Roman look like even more of a bad guy than he already was. Montreal had some choice words.
Lots of choice words.
But it did make Sammy look like a really good guy. I think it was, like I said, good match, great storytelling. I don't have any complaints with it personally, other than Sammy losing. I have some choice words for that too, Montreal. I'm with you.
I thought it was just too predictable in general.
I feel like that's any Roman Reigns match though. Anytime you put him up against anybody, you know who's gonna win.
Because they use the same stuff. When Uso shows up, kicks the bejesus at the other person, Roman knocks out the ref, and then they waylay him. Then last second ref gets up and they pin him.
Very true.
Facts.
That's been about all Roman Reigns matches since WrestleMania last year.
It was a good match. When the ref got smashed in the corner, you knew at that point. To me, I was like, okay, this is where the cinema, the theater of it all kind of comes into play, and it did. So you kind of know at that moment, okay, we're switching from a wrestling match to the cinematic kind of thing.
Yeah.
I think you expected that to a degree. It was predictable. The only thing that kind of wasn't predictable is the way Jay was when Jay showed up. He still kind of left you hanging. what's he going to do? Is he going to hit Roman? Is he going to hit Sammy? Is he going to do anything? Is he going to walk out? So that kind of was not exactly predictable, but at the same time, it's also being played out. Same thing happened last pay-per-view, Royal Rumble. Same thing happened, Jay's. And it's not Jay. I mean, he fantastic job. Tear falling down his face kind of thing. So it's not that. It's just, to me, they're kind of dragging it out a little bit too much.
Yeah.
So, very predictable. My worry with this match is the way the crowd was, the way the match went, that Sammy versus Roman doesn't have closure to the WWE universe.
Yeah.
That's still a thing, and then you're going to go to WrestleMania and don't know what their solid plans are for Roman. But I mean, he's going to fight Cody Rhodes,
Yeah.
so you got that. But we don't really know what he's going to do with maybe the SmackDown title or whatever. So really don't know how that's going to play out. But it's going to be hard for them to lay this Sammy versus Roman to rest.
Yeah.
That's my biggest issue with how that all went. But I mean, it's a solid match. There's some good spots, spears and kicks and exploder suplexes and Superman punches from both sides. I mean, it was solid. The whole bit with Sammy's wife and family ringside, that was good.
That was really good.
That was made for some good spots. So overall, it was a solid match for what it was. I fully expected Sammy to lose. For whatever, I mean, I know in my mind, I know you don't like this. In my mind, he's not an upper card guy. Sammy's he's over. He's great on the mic. But he's not. To me, he's not at that level. I couldn't see him putting a belt on him right now, like that belt on him right now. Championship, no. Undisputed, no. To me, he's not there. And lots of people disagree, and that's fine. But to me, he's not there.
Yeah.
It was a good match. Not a knock against him. He's just not there. So I kind of expected it to happen that way. WWE's protected Roman for 900 days, so they're not going to stop at this. Maybe at WrestleMania, we'll see. But I'm just worried that in everybody's mind that's not over.
Right.
Obviously the storyline's not, but I'm just talking Sammy versus Roman, and not a lot of closure with that, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So that's my only problem with that match. The whole show to me was extremely predictable.
Yeah.
We sat down, we were talking about it before. It's like, well, what do you think is going to happen? Oscar's going to win. Bobby's going to win because they're not going to want to do that program of Brock and Bray that wouldn't work. Edge and Beth are going to go over Finn and Rhea. That's the only one I was kind of questionable on because I didn't know until the press conference of how that was actually going to play out because I didn't feel like the story was over. Men's Chamber, I've said it all, Austin Theory was going to walk out of there as champion, and it was going to be a fluke thing, and it was. And then Roman versus Sammy. Anybody outside of Montreal knew that Roman was going to win.
Yeah.
I mean, really, realistically, in the way that they booked everything. So to me, it's extremely, extremely predictable. Royal Rumble was extremely predictable.
Seems like these last few have been
Yeah, at least the last couple pay-per-views have been very predictable. And WWE has to be careful because when you start getting predictable, you're going to lose people's interest.
Yep.
So overall, it was a good show, but it's not a knock against the people performing because I can't look at this and say, oh, this person did a horrible job. This person botched a lot or anything like that. Everybody on that card did a good job.
Yeah.
So, but it was just the whole thing was extremely predictable.
Kind of felt bad for Roman. Like after that match, you probably hear a coin drop. As soon as that match
was the thing.
ended.
That
was so quiet.
They died. That's when I felt
was-
like, oh, they just killed this.
Yeah.
They just stopped all momentum.
Well, that's like we sat and watched that press conference last night. Even Sammy, he was kind of out of character, and he was like, when I lost, he said, and it got quiet. He said that wasn't the oh my gosh, he lost, daggone, that was just
A momentum of that storyline
Yeah,
just
it was
That
just
gone.
it just
gone.
died.
Yeah.
That was weird.
Yeah.
And while we're talking, I will say the MVP last night with that crowd.
Yeah.
That Montreal crowd was hot.
Yeah, they were.
That was a good crowd.
That was a really
they were
good crowd.
That was a great crowd for that show. I know you had Sammy in Montreal, and you had Edge in Canada, and Beth in Canada, and Natalia, and all these people, and you expected them to get some pops, but man, that place
hot.
rocked all night. That was a fantastic crowd.
The entire place was for Sammy.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, I don't think there was a soul in there for Roman Reigns.
just Paul and Jimmy.
Yeah.
But overall, it was a solid show, but it's very predictable.
Yes.
Extremely.
But Will and I sat up and watched the press conference last night. And because you always, it's weird because when you watch a WWE press conference, like, well, is this in character? Is this not in character? Is this?
You question it.
And I think that sometimes they straddle the lines. I think some straddle the lines between in character and for real. But you're kind of watching, and they brought out Austin Theory first for his little interview, and he's 100% in character.
Yeah.
there was no
Theories in character.
There was no, oh, this guy's just taking a break from being Austin Theory. No. He was 100% the whole thing, and props to him for it. But at the end, he was like, okay, I've done all this, I beat all these guys, and, Monday night I'm issuing an open challenge for the U.S. title. And I don't think anybody in the back's going to, come out and challenge me. You cocky, perfect Austin Theory, perfect in character.
Yeah.
Edge and Beth come out next and do part of theirs kind of as, Adam and Beth, rest of it, Edge and Beth, and at the end, he's like, oh, so I hear that this kid come out in sunglasses and thought he was hot stuff and issued an open challenge for the U.S. title on Raw. He's like, well, it's going to be in Ottawa, and I haven't wrestled in Ottawa for a long time, and then, well, it'd be nice to have some gold around my waist. I think I'll take that challenge. So, obviously setting up, Edge versus Austin Theory on Raw, and then, my mind goes, oh, well, here comes Judgment Day.
Yep.
And that's going to set up Edge and Finn Balor for a huge match at WrestleMania. And then maybe that will finally put that whole storyline to rest.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was all in the press conference last night. They kind of pushed that along, I think, to the next chapter of that story, I guess.
Yeah.
Love to see Edge with some gold, even if it was the U.S. title, but it's
not looking too good.
No, it's going to be a Judgment Day interference thing, and set up a WrestleMania match, which is fine. I mean, I have no problem with that. But it's kind of, to me, it's like this is getting pretty predictable. Now, Monday Night Raw comes around, I could be completely wrong.
Here's my prediction. Edge wins. Edge wins it. He takes the belt. He keeps it. Finn Balor will come out eventually. He said, I want that. And then he says, and then Edge will come like, okay, we'll come to agreement. WrestleMania, Hell in a Cell for the U.S. champion. I think that would make for some really good match.
It would, but I don't think they're going to drop the belt from Austin Theory right now.
I don't think they will either, but that's what I want to happen.
That would be pretty sweet. And then that way Judgment Day would potentially get their gold. I mean, that'd be a hard one. That'd be hard.
Yeah.
That'd be a good match.
That'd be really good.
But hopefully I would probably still get that match, but it'd be cool if it was for gold.
I think this is going to be great.
So overall, what'd you think of the show?
It was predictable, but it was good at the same time. Sammy and Roman, predictable, but not at the same time. Like, towards the end, you didn't know, oh, is Jay going to hit Roman? Is he going to hit Sammy? Is he going to hit Jimmy?
Oh yeah, Jimmy was there too.
Yeah.
You didn't know.
Yep, this was a B-tier pay-per-view for me. It was alright. It had some, like, this is just too predictable. And it was like, what's going to happen now? But overall, yeah, it's pretty much so just a B-tier pay-per-view for me. It wasn't bad, but it wasn't great.
I thought the pay-per-view itself was okay. if the matches, the winners of the matches, I will say was predictable. You didn't necessarily know what was going to happen during the matches, but you pretty much so well knew who was going to win. And some of those wins were very deserving, and some of them were not, in my opinion. But overall, pretty good pay-per-view. The only match I would have to genuinely have some complaints about would probably be the Women's Chamber, and it's just because who was in it. I felt like, not that these girls probably didn't earn their way. Obviously, I'm sure they did, or they wouldn't be where they're at. But I just, to me, it's kind of disappointing. You know, Natalia, I can understand. I will give them that. You know, they're in Canada, why not? You know, but I do feel like Becky or Bayley should have been in that chamber, or both of them. You know, but they have plans and they do these things for a reason, so I don't know what's going to happen. But overall, I think the pay-per-view itself was good, but I do think your winners were very predictable.
Definitely.
All right, so that wraps up Elimination Chamber 2023. Next up, 17 nights of WrestleMania. So we'll see you after the first night of WrestleMania. Until then, enjoy your wrestling.
Yeah.